Darkcast Network, indie pods with a dark side.
Hey, little skeletons. I'm Gina.
And I'm Amber.
And this is Weird True Crime.
Welcome back for part 2 of the Gannon Stauch case. If you missed part 1, I highly recommend going back and listening to our breakdown along with the audio clips before you dive into this one. Before getting into what was written in the affidavit and talking about the trial, let's quickly recap what we covered in the previous episode. 11-year-old Gannon Stauch was reported missing by his stepmother, Letecia Stauch, on January 27, 2020, after he didn't come home from a friend's house.
Letecia makes several strange choices in the days following Gannon's disappearance, including renting a car for no apparent reason to pick up Al, Gannon's father, from the airport, giving strange, self-serving interviews to news media, and moving out of state just days after Gannon's disappearance. After massive search efforts, interviews, and crime scene investigations, Letecia was arrested on March 2nd, 2020 in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Let's get right into it.
We're now going to break down the timeline from January 27th with the information from the affidavit. Gannon stayed home from school on Monday, January 27th, 2020. This is one of the few things Letecia told police that is true. Letecia texted Al, letting him know Gannon was up the night before with stomach issues and that he was staying home from school. She also let the school know he would be absent and texted her new employer, Leslie Hicks, at 4:37 a.m. to tell her she wouldn't be at work because her stepdad had been hit and killed by a car. We don't know why she made up such a strange excuse to get out of work, but I'm assuming it's because she had a plan and knew she wouldn't be returning to work for several days. Interestingly enough, her stepdad was hit and killed by a car, but it had happened several years prior. Letecia took pictures of Gannon, who appears to be asleep in bed at 8:13 and 8:17 a.m. His prized Nintendo Switch can be seen lying next to him. It was never found after his disappearance.
Thanks to a neighbor's security camera, we know Letecia and Gannon left their home at 10:16 a.m. in Al's red Nissan Frontier. Phone records indicate that Letecia left her phone at home during this outing, which is notably strange because she is an avid user of social media and spent multiple hours per day on Facebook and Messenger. A text was sent from Gannon's phone to Letecia's daughter Harley's phone at 10:37 a.m. that said, quote, "Tisha left phone at home. If you need her, text me," end quote. Surveillance footage at a Petco about 30 minutes away from Letecia's home captured her completing a purchase around 11:22 a.m. She bought 3 dog sweaters. Gannon is nowhere to be seen in the footage, and employees stated that Letecia kept looking out the front windows to the parking lot. 2 hours later, at 1:22 p.m., Letecia is seen once again at the same Petco making another purchase. No one knows where she and Gannon went during the 2-hour gap. I have a theory that I personally think is what's going on here. I think that she probably had a plan, as you'll see later on in this episode. I think she had a plan and she drove around probably looking for a place to complete her plan and then decided against it for whatever reason and then decided to go back to the Petco so she would have her movements tracked on camera. But that's just kind of what I think, and you may or may not agree with me once we get further into it. But that's all I'm saying. That's kind of what I'm thinking.
At 12:06 p.m., Al sent Gannon's phone a message that said, quote, "Hey, buddy," end quote. The text wasn't answered until 1:21 p.m. with a message that said, quote, "Can I play Zelda at least?" end quote, to which Mr. Stauch replied, "Not today." Gannon had been grounded from his Switch, and this is such a kid's way to respond to a message from a parent. An interesting event occurred on Gannon's phone at 1:43 p.m., before Letecia and Gannon returned home. There was an internet search on his phone that said, quote, "Can my parent find my cell phone if it's off?" End quote. This stands out for a few reasons. One, the search is strange for an 11-year-old boy. Two, the phrasing of the search is questionable. Parent alludes to one parent. Are we referring to Al being able to find the phone if it's off? 3, there is a typo in the phrase. A period is where the space should be between the words phone and if, which is a frequent occurrence in the search history found on Letecia's phone. This led investigators to believe it was Letecia who made the search and not Gannon. The phone was later found at the Stauch residence, so Letecia's search probably made her realize there was no clean way to get rid of the phone.
Letecia and Gannon returned home around 2:20 p.m. Her phone, which had been at home and locked all day, wasn't unlocked until 2:45 p.m., 25 minutes after they returned home. Considering how attached she was to her phone, investigators found this odd and out of character. While she may not have been on her phone during that time, motion sensors throughout the home indicated movement both upstairs and downstairs. Lena, Gannon's little sister, returned home from school around 3:15 p.m. Letecia told Lena that Gannon was asleep in her bed and she couldn't see him and sent her outside to play. Gannon's dad, Al, sent him another text that read, quote, "Hey buddy," end quote, at 3:55 p.m. But this message wasn't read until 7:40 p.m., after Gannon had been reported missing. Harley, Letecia's daughter, returned home from work at 4:42 p.m., picked up Lena, and left again. Letecia sent Harley a text message about 15 minutes later asking for carpet cleaner, baking soda, and trash bags. The text didn't mention cleaning anything, so the assumption is that Letecia asked Harley to go buy some items from the store and then texted her with additions to the list after she left. As we know from the original reports, Letecia called EPSO to report Gannon missing at 6:55 p.m. No one showed up at the home to speak with her until after 10 p.m. During the initial investigation of the Stauch residence, body cameras capture Letecia's Volkswagen Tiguan in the garage, which had been backed in instead of pulled straight through. Detective Bethel, who wrote the affidavit, states that the placement of the SUV is significant because of later findings. The officers also walked through Gannon's bedroom in the basement of the home. Images captured from the body cam footage show significant differences between the photos taken of Gannon in the bed that morning and the appearance of the bed that night. The bedding had been changed, and the pillowcase, if not the whole pillow, is different. Investigators searched the home 5 times and never found the bedding Gannon was sleeping on that morning.
If you recall from part 1, Al Stauch rushed back home on January 28th after he learned of his son's disappearance. Obviously. His loving wife, Letecia, picked him up from the airport, but not in the Volkswagen Tiguan. No, she rented a 2019 Kia Rio from Avis Rent-A-Car around 8:50 a.m. and left the Tiguan in the short-term parking lot at the Colorado Springs airport. When Al asked Letecia why she rented the car, she told him she was concerned about putting miles on the Tiguan because it was a rental and they would be driving around to look for Gannon. Okay, this doesn't make sense for a couple of reasons. Why would you be thinking about your car mileage when your child is missing? And also, Al later said that once they returned home, they left the Kia at the house and drove the Nissan Frontier around to look for Gannon.
Yeah, a little fishy. And it just gets worse because Letecia also lied to Al about where the Tiguan was and told him she left it at French elementary school. On the stand, Al spoke to this when he explained that he drove around the school several times looking for the Tiguan, but never saw it. Letecia didn't return to pick up her Tiguan from the airport until approximately 8 p.m. on January 28th and returned the Kia Rio the morning of the 29th. Surveillance cameras show Letecia being picked up from the Avis rent-a-car by a white Jetta, which matches the description of her daughter Harley's car. Letecia showed up nearly 2 hours late to her interview at the EPSO on January 29th in her freshly washed Tiguan. The vehicle was seized and the evidence response team conducted a forensic search. Blue Star Reagent, which is similar to luminol, revealed traces of blood on the rear bumper, step plate of the rear bumper, the back passenger seat, front passenger seat, and an area near the glove box. The traces of blood on the rear bumper and step plate are significant because if you remember, the body cam footage from the initial search of the home showed the Tiguan had been backed into the garage. Forensic testing also revealed blood on the floor of the garage and in the same location where the rear bumper would have been located.
A receipt from the dollar store time-stamped January 27th, 5:17 p.m. was found in the Tiguan as well. Listed on the receipt were trash bags, baking soda, vinegar, and other items. As mentioned earlier, Letecia had texted Harley a message that contained a list of various cleaning items around this time. A quick internet search will show that baking soda and vinegar are common household items used to clean bloodstains. Of course, just because someone buys these everyday household items doesn't mean that they're trying to clean up a crime scene. But given the date, time, and circumstance, it's more than coincidental. While these items were being found in Letecia's Tiguan, she was busy telling investigators one of her many stories of what happened the day of Gannon's disappearance. This is when Eduardo and the sexual assault and kidnapping come to fruition. Letecia told investigators that when Lena got home from school, her attacker let her go upstairs to greet her and tell her to go out and play, before returning downstairs and resuming the assault. Not only is this statement outlandish, but security cameras from neighboring houses did not show anyone besides Letecia and Gannon entering the home that afternoon.
The cameras will always get you.
Yeah,
always. The motion sensors inside the Stauch residence didn't pick up any movement between 10:16 a.m. and 2:14 p.m., proving that no one was in the house during that time. To make this story even less plausible than it already is, cell phone records show Letecia texted Al several times and made a phone call during the time of the alleged assault. Yep, an intruder would absolutely let you text your husband and call someone while attacking you without any fear that you will call the police. That makes complete sense. I don't see an issue in that story at all.
No, checks out.
No. And then not only did she wait 2 days to report this attack, but she also said she cleaned up the areas where it took place, including Gannon's room and the utility or laundry room. Investigators found cleaning brushes that contained carpet fibers in the dishwasher. While the brushes were obviously used to clean the carpet, it's clear she was trying to explain away their presence with this so-called assault. It's at this point in the interview that Letecia feigns illness and hitches a ride to the hospital, where she escapes before the warrant is executed for her DNA. She was encouraged to do a SANE exam, which is the sexual assault nurse examiner, but refused. You would think that a woman who just went through a sexual assault and had her child kidnapped would do anything to help find the person who did this. This is another big tell that the assault didn't actually happen.
While Letecia was busy tweaking her story for the investigators, the Metro Crime Lab was at the Stauch residence doing one of many forensic investigations. Blue Star Regent was applied to Gannon's bedroom, the hallway leading to the utility room from his bedroom, the utility room itself, the staircase and landing leading upstairs, the pathway to the garage from the stairs, and the garage itself. Investigators found positive results for blood in all of the locations I just mentioned. In Gannon's bedroom, in the corner where his bed was positioned, there was an area where suspected blood had seeped through the carpet and stained the concrete. There were also bloodstains and projected blood splatter on the walls in this location. Crime scene investigators suspect someone had attempted to clean up the blood because of the way the Blue Star Regent reacted to the blood on the walls. Even worse, Gannon's mattress was seized as evidence because of red stains consistent with blood in the same area as the stain on the carpet and the blood cast off on the walls. It was obvious to investigators that Letecia had attempted to clean up the scene because residual blood was found on the baseboards, an electrical outlet cover, and soaked through the carpet that had been cleaned. When the outlet cover was removed, a blood stain was visible along the outline of the cover, showing that Letecia had attempted to clean, but there had been so much blood it seeped under the outlet cover.
Tom Griffin, a certified senior crime scene analyst, bloodstain pattern analyst, and crime scene reconstructionist, examined the bloodstain on Gannon's walls. He preliminarily reported that the stains were consistent with one or more blood spatter producing events, which could include gunshot, blunt force, or a stabbing. Just saying that out loud makes my skin crawl. On January 29th, a piece of rolled up carpet was found in the utility room with what appeared to be bloodstains on it. During this search, investigators found carpet brushes in the dishwasher, like we said, with suspected carpet fibers on them and an empty gallon-size bottle of vinegar. Al, Gannon's father, said that the bottle had been half full when he left for Oklahoma on January 25th. Vinegar was also purchased on January 27th. I think we mentioned this before, but vinegar, along with baking soda, is a popular combination used to clean up blood. All in all, Gannon's DNA profile was found in blood samples taken from the garage, on the outside of size 8.5 Nike shoes that belonged to Letecia, and in Gannon's bedroom. These preliminary findings led investigators to believe that Gannon was killed in his bedroom, brought into the garage, and loaded into the back of Letecia's Volkswagen Tiguan in order to be disposed of in another location.
The GPS tracker on Letecia's Tiguan showed the vehicle left the Colorado Springs airport around 7 p.m. on January 28, 2020. As we mentioned earlier, Letecia parked the Tiguan in the short-term parking lot around 8 a.m. that morning before picking up Al from the airport in the Kia Rio. After the Tiguan left the airport that evening, it made a 10-minute stop in the parking lot of a King Soopers. It's a grocery store chain. And then a Wendy's. The raw data from the Tiguan then showed it in the area of Highway 105 and South Perry Park Road between 9:15 and 9:30 p.m. The car stopped for approximately 5 minutes before driving back toward the Stauch residence. Letecia's cell phone data shows that her phone was either turned off or in airplane mode during this time period. The GPS tracker on the Nissan Altima that Letecia drove after the Tiguan was seized on January 29th was in the same area near Highway 105 and South Perry Park Road on January 31st between 4:15 and 5:15 p.m. Letecia had no family or friends in this area, and investigators found it odd she traveled to this location multiple times. On February 15th, 2020, a piece of particle board with what appeared to be blood on it was found near the location where the Tiguan had idled for 5 minutes on January 28th. The particle board tested positive for Gannon's blood. Gannon's remains were not found in the area, and investigators initially believed they had been scattered by animals. We know this is not where Gannon was found. A clear assumption would be that Letecia dumped his body near Highway 105 and South Perry Park Road on January 28th, and then went back and got him on January 31st and left the piece of particle board with his blood on it behind.
That hurts my heart.
All of it.
So much. All of it does. It's just like, I know all of this and it's still hard to read. Yeah.
It just keeps, the longer we go, the worse it keeps getting. When you think that it can't get any worse, oh, guess what? It does.
Mm-hmm. And we're not even halfway through all of her bullshit yet.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's buckle up. Okay. It is so messed up to think that the same day Letecia gave that ridiculous interview with her back to the camera, she picked up Gannon's body from the middle of nowhere and kept him in a trunk while deciding what to do with him. Of course, this isn't the only messed up thing Letecia was up to during and before this time period. Her cell phone records from January 25th to January 29th do her absolutely no favors. While there's nothing included in the records that provide a motive for murder, it does help to paint a picture of her mental state during this time. She was obviously unhappy in her marriage and did not enjoy her role as a step-parent. Here are just some of the Google searches from Letecia's phone during that time period.
Oh, God.
Yeah, get ready for this. Find real military singles. Parenting should be for people, not one. Side note, that doesn't even make sense.
That's not a search. It's a fucking statement.
Yeah. Also, 4 people? Does she mean 2? Or I don't know. How many people does she?
Well, I mean, since there's her and Al, and then Landon, co-parenting with a divorced couple. I mean, yeah. There would be technically, possibly 4 if people. The other.
None of these are actual searches. They're just statements. Next one. I'm overdoing all the work for my stepkids and their mom doesn't help. Mom advice from stepmom. If you aren't involved in your kid's life, are you shitty? My husband's ex-wife does nothing for her kids, but it says lids. I wonder if my husband's ex-wife is sending me a Valentine's card since I raise her kids. One day, some people will wish they treated you differently.
To note, I wonder if my husband's ex-wife is sending me a Valentine's card. She's got a period where spaces should be between I raise her kids.
And that's really common in a pretty high percentage of her searches, which is why it's pretty clear that Gannon was not the one searching if your parent could find your phone if it was turned off. It was obviously not Gannon because the rest of his search history didn't show any sort of errors like that.
The consistent typos
and bad grammar. Find me a rich guy who wants me to take care of his kids. Find a guy who wants me to take care of his kids and get paid. There's a lot of periods instead of spaces there. My son burned the carpet. How do I fix it? Will humidifier help if exposed to smoke? School is out. Is it okay for my kid to stay home alone? Son is sick, but I have to go to work. And this is for the day he disappeared. El Paso Sheriff's Office number. What is the process for our runaway child? This one's very interesting. Can Nintendo find my Switch? And they are asking for our son's toothbrush, but said nothing is wrong.
And all of these searches take place between January 25th, 2020 and January 28th, 2020. Mm-hmm. So as we said, the thing that stood out most to law enforcement was the typing errors with the periods instead of the spaces. Investigators also found several deleted Google searches on Letecia's phone. Date and time stamps could not be recovered, but there's still an interesting look into her mental state in the time leading up to and potentially following Gannon's murder. These searches include Find Me a New Husband book. I feel like I'm just a nanny, not a stepmom. Husband uses me to babysit his kids. Are there any free money to move away from bad situation? My husband never posts about me, but does everything else. My husband only cleans up for the army, not me. I'm just a glorified babysitter. Find a new husband. Sent my husband sexual messages and he ignores them. Probably because you're fucking batshit, woman. Sorry, that's not a search. That's my own 2 cents rearing its ugly head because I can't keep it contained.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Make my husband want me more. I feel like my husband uses me to babysit his kids. Find a guy without kids.
Yeah. And like we talked about in the first part, we know that she has a huge history of lying, making up stories, the twin pregnancy, the burglaries that didn't happen, lying about her job. I'm sure at this point, even though they were still married, there's no way that Al was happy either. And we know he traveled a lot for work and he was gone pretty frequently. So yeah, even in a good situation, it can be really daunting to be a parent who's always responsible for the children, but like that's not what's going on here. No.
I mean, all of these searches tell us that she obviously was unhappy because of his lack of attention or affection, and she didn't enjoy taking care of his kids. You signed up for that when you married the man, though. Just saying.
Exactly. Like maybe talk through that or think about that a little more before you marry someone who has kids from a previous relationship.
Anyway, stepping back off of soapbox, and
yeah.
From his time on the stand during the trial, it's pretty clear that his job takes priority, and he was traveling for work frequently, as we said, Al. But anyone who is married with kids and a spouse who travels for work or works long hours on a consistent basis can speak to how lonely and overwhelming that situation can be. Like we said, none of these searches prove Letecia killed Gannon, but they do help with showing her mental state in the days leading up to the murder. Another red flag is a text message that Letecia sent to Detective Bethel on January 28th, just 24 hours after Gannon was reported missing. In the message, Letecia already believed she was a subject in his disappearance, even though she had not been notified as such or given any prompt from law enforcement. Now, why would she think she was a person of interest in his disappearance so soon after he went missing if she had nothing to do with it?
Once Al realized that Letecia lied to him about Gannon's whereabouts on the day of his disappearance, he began working with police to gather more information. He allowed phone calls and emails with Letecia to be recorded and monitored. In my very expert opinion, the number of times her story about his disappearance and the days leading up to it changes makes her shady as fuck. If we haven't already said this, like, this bitch is just a next level. Yeah, the worst. During a conversation with Al on February 13th, Letecia stated that Gannon was burned so badly by the candle incident that his skin bubbled, and that Gannon peeled the skin off his burns and wiped the blood on the walls of his bedroom. Al hadn't asked about the blood on the walls during this call, and the fact that she provided information about blood on the walls indicates she was aware of what the scene looked like and was trying to explain it away. The next day, on February 14th, Letecia told Al 4 more stories, explaining what happened to Gannon on January 27th, 2020. 4 more stories. Before we break them down, we're going to play audio from one of the recorded phone calls between Letecia and Al. By this point, Al had been coached by authorities on how to coax information out of her during their conversations. It's a long clip, but it gives great insight into Letecia's manipulation and Al's attempts to stay calm during a conversation that would make most people lose their cool pretty quickly.
I had to go get my clothes changed and everything just so I can blend in better. And I want you to know that no matter what, we can work through this together, and I can help you, okay? But you just got to let me help you. But you told me to be straight up. I got a very straight up question, okay? Are you ready?
Yeah.
Did you kill Gannon? I need to know. I need you to answer me yes or no right now.
I killed Gannon. The answer is no. I can't believe you asked me this.
I just got to know. You had told me to be straight up. I got to know what's happening to my son.
Tell me why you would think I killed Gannon.
There's a lot of unknowns. I mean, being straight up again, you changed your story again to me for the 4th time.
No, I changed my story.
You did. This is the 4th version of the same story, okay?
Wow.
Like half of what you told me today, with the cut foot, and now he's got burned arms and picking it, and his butt's bleeding. All this stuff is new to what you told me the other day. And the other day you told me you cleaned up the area where you got raped so nobody would see it. But now you told me you just changed clothes. I just don't know what the hell's going on.
I didn't tell you. First off, you never even listened to me about anything that went on.
I did. No, you stopped, because I listened to you. I listened to you, and then I went and got the guns and put them in the truck, and then I came back and me and Landon listened to you, and then I stopped and picked your story apart. So get it straight, Tisha. I listened to you, and I said, if I'm wrong about the rape, I will get on my knees and beg you for forgiveness. Did I not say that?
Yeah, but you haven't.
Exactly, because I haven't been proven wrong yet. I want the truth. If I'm wrong, if the police, no matter what they're doing, the FBI, the CBI, the CBS, whoever, okay, if they tell me I'm wrong, I will publicly, in front of the world, get on a camera and tell you I'm sorry. But until that happens, we're going to find the truth.
How can you tell me that someone didn't I don't understand. How can you tell me that someone didn't do something to hurt me and take Gannon?
I'm not telling you that. I'm telling you it hasn't been proven one way or the other. You said you banged your head on the freaking table. Now I got to tell them to go check out the table and see if there's any blood or any of your...
You knew that. They had already asked that.
Okay, but that's the first I heard of it. You see what I'm saying?
Because you never would talk to me. You literally just sat here in a conversation and asked me, did I kill our child?
Yes, I did, because because if you say no, then I'll stop thinking that you did it. Okay?
That's horrible.
I don't know what to think. My son's blood. You're telling me his blood's all over the walls, and now you're telling me the Mexican guy that had the gun to your head or whatever took him away, and he knows him, and he could be anywhere.
Hold on. Gun. So where did you get that piece from?
That was So now you got me twisting all your stories up, because that was from the first time you told me the rape story. That he had a gun to your head. You told me it was your gun. You told me, but you told me it was your gun, so that's fine. I'm not debating the points here. But
I said the black one.
Okay, fine, but I mean,
You know in your heart I would never hurt Gannon.
Yes, I absolutely believe that. But I'm doing everything I can to help you right now. And if you, but Tisha, listen. The thing is, if you don't, but it's not just. I asked you if you killed him. You said no, and I'm sorry. That was a hard question. But if you know anything, or you did anything, or just upset about it, we can work together, and I can help you. But I can't help you if you don't tell me anything. It's just there's so many unknowns, Tisha.
Oh my God.
I mean, did anything happen that was an accident that you're scared about?
Really?
I'm just trying to, Tisha. You know, with my army training, I'm trained to ask all these questions to get us in a safe place, right? And that's why I took the guns out from the get go. That's just my training kicking in.
Oh my God. I really thought, I thought out of this conversation, like I really thought you were going to be supportive of me. I thought you were going to bring your family back together. And I thought that we were going to talk about everything every single day of nothing but Gannon.
That's what I'm trying to do.
For a second, you would ask me, did I kill Gannon? I can't believe that.
Well, I'm glad you said no. That gives me a lot of hope and peace.
I told him about maybe, just maybe, you might have a brother. Maybe. We talked about, we cried about Kobe. We did a lot together.
What?
What hurt, Kevin?
Okay.
Dog.
Okay, Tisha. Let me ask it this way then. I don't believe you killed him. But did something bad happen to him, and he maybe he is dead or not with us anymore, and you just panicked and didn't know what to do? I mean, is there anything like that? Just any information is what I need. We can help you. I can help you get through this. But but we got to know the information about Bubba. I mean, just think of,
Really, yeah.
yes, I'm just trying to figure out what happened to him. He's gone and nobody knows anything, but you were the last one to hear him speak. Okay, which was Monday when you were driving around and he left the house. The last time we heard him speak, I don't know. I don't know when that was. Before I left, probably. When I left and he went downstairs to watch Pokemon. That's the last memory I have of him.
Albert, let me tell you something. People don't have the life that I have. People don't just be a normal person, just doing their thing, finally have what they want to do and be in the sky, working. Oh, they don't do that. People premeditate things in life. There's no sign or indications of anything that I would have ever hurt those children. I fought for you. I fought for them.
Yes, you did. You fought for all of us. You're right. I'm not questioning any of that, Tisha. I just did an accident happen? I mean, other than the candle or the burn? I don't know. I'm just trying to ask all the questions.
I've worked with children long enough, Albert. If an accident happened, I'm smart enough. I know what to do. I've had plenty of friends who've been in situations where they've been in the classroom. They accidentally dropped the kid. The kid might have broke their leg. You go to the people, you tell them it's an accident, and you work through it.
Okay, so all right, you also said something that was calmed my heart, tremendously about Bubba. That basically you didn't premeditate anything. So whatever happened to him had to be an accident, just like the candle. And obviously you wouldn't plan on something like that because you're a teacher and you do all those babysitting events. I know you wouldn't hurt kids intentionally, but whatever happened was an accident, and I know you didn't plan it.
I didn't have anything to do with it. Why are you saying this to me?
So he would have had to have died naturally then, other than.
He's dead.
I don't know, Tisha.
I can't even believe you are saying that. Gannon isn't alive. What's wrong with you?
Because it's just this. None of this makes any sense. I mean, he would have been found by now. Okay, he didn't. All the cameras, all that footage shows him not leaving the house, other than in the truck. And I like I said, I'm just trying to help you get through this.
Help me?
Yes, help you because.
Help me get through this.
Because I am trying to help you. I want to know what happened to Gannon and try to help you and keep Harley safe and everything that I've said the whole time because that's who I am and you know that.
See what y'all think. This is what y'all think. Y'all think somebody's gonna come in here and say something just to appease everyone. But a true person who is completely innocent, y'all can keep me down in the ground all you want to because I didn't do it.
I'm not beating you down.
You think you don't want me anymore? Fine. You don't want our family anymore? Fine. You took my car. You took everything.
I didn't take anything. They got all my shit too, Tisha. I got 2 cars now because Harley's not going to pay for it. I got 2 cars I got to pay for that I can't even see or touch.
I'm begging you.
No. She hasn't. That I know. So
Every day, Albert, why are you not with your wife? Because you want to be so honest and ask questions. Why are you not with your wife and daughter?
because okay, I'm gonna tell you the truth right now. Because of this conversation, Tisha, I don't know, and I've told you that the whole time. I'm confused. I'm all over the place. I just can't. I can't get the truth from you or the police or nobody. And now you know. It's just even worse now because I got another story I've got to try to make a theory from.
Another story? You have never talked to me.
But you just told me. You told me a few minutes ago we had and we went over it. You told me the first story. No, first you told me he ran away. Then it was the rape story. Then it was the second rape story. Now it's the third rape story.
I can't believe you just said the rape story.
I'm just. What do you want me to call it? The story of Gannon disappearing. Okay, you told me the first version of that, the second version, and now the third version.
You a second or third person.
Yes.
You sit down and talk to me.
No, that day that I got home. No, the day I got home, that next morning after my mom and sister and Landon and everybody was at the house, you told me you were texting Bethel and you told her the story. I don't know what you told her, and I kind of don't even.
Yes, you do.
I don't even care. No.
It's all there.
How us where?
My God, I can't believe you're lying to me right now.
About what? I'm not lying to you about anything, Tisha.
Albert, they had y'all at the police department when I was there.
Oh, you mean when Landon showed up and then they brought, I was already there or whatever? Is that what you're talking about? Because that's the only time I know. I don't even know when you're there. I just assumed you had finally come in that night. Or was it the next day you came in? I don't even know, Tisha.
You were there because she was talking to you there.
Who was?
Bethel?
She was talking to me at the police station?
Yes.
Honestly, most of my talking was with Mark, the other guy that was at Starbucks. So I don't know what you mean she was talking to me. I think I might have talked to her for like 10 or 15 minutes. Did
not tell you anything different. This is how my day went. I was going to lay down.
Hey, Tisha, I believe you. Okay. What I want you to answer for me is those simple questions. Did Gannon die and you just freaked out, or was there an accident involved? Did you kill him? Answer all those questions. Those are the ones that I want to know. Okay, I don't care about who talked to who, when we went where. Honestly, at this point, none of that freaking matters. What matters is that little 11-year-old boy is either out there or he's not, and I got to know that. And you're the only one that has any information regarding that.
I gave you that information, and you're not going to look for it.
No, but you didn't. You ignored my question. I mean, answer those questions for me.
What's the first question?
All right. Did you kill Gannon?
No.
Okay. Did Gannon die on your watch, whether it was an accident or naturally from some injury?
No.
Okay. Did Gannon have an accident of a serious nature and you freak out and cover it up?
No.
So the answer is to no to all of that.
Correct.
Okay. Now this is going to be very uncomfortable for you, even more uncomfortable than what I just asked you. But did Harley kill Gannon?
God, no.
Okay. Did she? Any of the same questions? Did she have anything to do with an accident, a cover up? Was she involved in this at all with you?
No. I haven't been involved either.
So so something, there's a blank somewhere that you have not filled the blank. So
How have I not filled the blank?
it's,
So you don't think for a second that someone came in the house again, and you don't think that?
I don't doubt that. I don't know what to believe, but I'm not doubting you. I'm just having to ask all these questions. So, you know,
I begged you. I said, hey, let us all be together. Look at me in my eyes and ask me that question. Feel it in your heart and then ask me that question.
but you gotta look at it from my perspective. Okay, first of all, and I got a couple things to say, so let me get through it. These stories, just like I've said the whole time, they don't sound legit to me. They just don't add up. They're not true. Something is off from every story because there's different versions. So that's number one. Number two.
I've only talked to you once.
Okay. All right, fair enough. But you got to put yourself in my shoes. Okay. What the hell would you do if this was Harley? Okay. And you didn't have all the information. How would you put all these pieces together? So, I mean, you got, from my glasses, how am I supposed to put all these pieces together when I don't even have a third of the pieces? I'm just trying to find the pieces and get them together.
You want me to answer that question?
Which one? The one about what if it was Harley?
Yeah.
Yeah, answer that question.
Okay. So as soon as you tell me this, when I get off this phone, I will have my husband and my children together in a home, and our houses will be praying, and we will be on the phone with the detectives, and we will be saying, listen, I support my husband, and we need to find someone over here. Somebody had to see something. Ask them again. Do something. We will be putting a fucking alert out everywhere. We will be putting a description out everywhere. We will close the fucking borders from Colorado to all of them, up and down 95, because it leads to fucking Mexico.
95? What?
That shit.
Why would
I'm
you?
sorry, 85, whatever.
85?
What's the road called? 25. It's
Oh.
state it leads to Mexico.
Well, you please be careful when you say those things because then they're going to start looking up and down 95 on the East Coast. Okay?
Sorry.
And that's not going to help us. I mean, since you know he's not over there, that's not going to help us if they get sent over there. Okay? But you didn't answer my question. How am I supposed to put all these pieces together? You're telling me let's go home and pray, and I've been praying I've been praying nonstop. Okay, but we got to have action too. So here, listen. I got to go because now I'm freaking. Everybody's going to start questioning me at the house. Where have you been? What are you doing? Are you involved? I'm going to get all those questions now. So
The house? Who are you staying with?
Uncle Jeff, and then freaking Veronica and all them that are all over the place. Okay, so
Why would you have to be anywhere near them?
I don't have to be, but you saw we had to do. Listen,
And your daughter.
Tisha, listen. I had to do these statements and interviews and all this shit. It's just nonstop. Every day is something else. Okay, so if you think all this information is what they need, apparently the El Paso people haven't done their job and they haven't forwarded it to the FBI. So I don't know. There's some Amber lady called me from the FBI, and I'm gonna just email you her number and her name. And if you want to pass this information to her, that's much higher than the freaking CBS or whatever you call it.
Yeah, because they've called everyone I know.
Okay, well then that's what.
You can tell them too.
Okay, but I don't have the document you have. So, anyways, I'm just going to send you the contact, and if you want it, you take it. If not, I can't make you do anything. But I got to go, okay?
Yeah, but that's not how you would say trying to find your son. You would not say, if you don't want to do anything, then blah, blah, blah.
No, that's not true, because I can't. I wanted you with me the whole time, and you left. So I'm going to give you the information you need to pass your stuff along, and then you can do that, okay?
Listen to me. We don't have anywhere to stay. I'm asking you to stay with your wife and daughter, and let's do this together. Now you tell me no if you think that you don't give a shit about us and you don't want that. You tell me no right now.
Tell you no.
You tell me yes if you want your family together because you believe
I
me.
wanted my family together.
No.
Listen to me. Listen to me. I wanted my family together the whole time. And listen, you're not letting me help you, so I recommend that you get in contact with this Amber lady because she offered me help and safety because I told her what I was going through, and I'm sure they'll do the same thing for you, especially all that you've been through with you're telling me about the social media stuff and people chasing you around. You said in the email, so I'm going to send you her contact information, okay? And then you decide whether or not to contact her to find protection for yourself and get them this information, okay? But I got to go, okay? I gotta go, Tisha. I gotta go.
The question.
What question? I said I wanted you to be together, but I gotta go, okay? I gotta go. All right, bye.
Is it just me, or is her voice, like, fucking annoying?
Nails on a chalkboard? Want to shove Q-tips into my eardrums repeatedly?
Yeah, just like...
So, I had said that I had been following this from the beginning. So when I saw that original interview with her back to... right then, I was like, oh, I can't stand this bitch.
No, she does nothing to make herself look better. Ever.
Al comes across as a saint during this phone call. Letecia is going on and on with her woe is me tactics and saying there's no way she would hurt Gannon and that nothing happened to him intentionally or unintentionally. Letecia is beside herself that Al would ask if she killed Gannon and doesn't believe her stories. Let's break them all down and why Al might question her. Letecia's initial statement to police was that Gannon left to go to a friend's house between 3:15 to 4 p.m. on January 27th, 2020. When he didn't return home for dinner and she couldn't locate him at his friend's house, she reported him missing. Her second statement to police on January 29th, just 2 days later, was that she was held at gunpoint and raped by a man named Eduardo, who then kidnapped Gannon.
Sure.
On February 14th, 2020, she told Al about the third version of events. According to Letecia, Eduardo was still inside the house when investigators arrived on the day of Gannon's disappearance. Apparently, she tried to signal to the police that there was somebody in the residence. We know that the home was searched during that visit and no one else was found inside the home. On the same day, Letecia told Al the fourth version of events. This time, she wasn't attacked by Eduardo, but by a man named Quincy Brown, who then kidnapped Gannon. Who the hell is Quincy Brown?
Right. Like, how the hell did he get involved in this story?
She said she knew his name because of an ID card that fell out of his pocket during the attack. Quincy Brown was listed on El Paso County's most wanted list on February 10th, 2020, just 4 days before Letecia named him as the person who raped her and kidnapped Gannon. First it was Eduardo, then Quincy. Okay. The photo of Brown that appeared on the KKTV website is the same photo that Letecia texted Al. He had outstanding warrants for failing to register as a sex offender and failure to appear. Quincy Brown is a black male, and up to this point, Letecia stated that her attacker was Hispanic. It doesn't stop there, though.
No, of course not.
The story then changes again, with Letecia stating that Quincy Brown saw her at Petco, followed her from the store, and at some point was laying in the middle of the road in front of her car. When she stopped to avoid hitting him, he jumped in her car, made her drive him to her home, where he raped her and then kidnapped Gannon. My head now hurts just trying to keep up with all the new details, and we're still not done listing out all the twists and turns in her story. Remember, all of these new details about Quincy Brown emerged on the same day during recorded conversations with Al.
Yeah, my head is spinning. It never make it make sense.
Nope. I value what brain cells I have left, so I'm not even going to try to.
I know, which is why a mental break is needed after this bullshit. In the last version of events from the day of Gannon's disappearance, Letecia and Gannon were out near Highway 105 in northern El Paso County on January 27th, 2020. Gannon was riding a bicycle in that area that they had gone to try out to potentially buy, apparently. And he was riding this bike when he fell off, hit his head, and then was abducted by Quincy Brown. In this version, Brown was driven by a man named Terrence. Can you picture it? Letecia and Gannon are out in a remote area of the county, and Gannon is riding his bike. He falls off, hits his head, and then out of nowhere, Quincy Brown launches himself out of a truck, driven by a man named Terrence, scoops Gannon up, and leaves Letecia in the dust. It makes no fucking sense. It makes no sense. Up to this point, the events of his disappearance took place in the Stauch home, and suddenly she includes the area of El Paso County that the EPSO had actively been investigating during that time period. She brought this area up without any prompt from Al and is giving an alibi for why she would have been in that area during the time. We know that her Tiguan places Letecia in this area on the night of January 28, 2020, and that a wooden board with Gannon's blood on it was found in this location. She was adamant that attempts to search this area were futile, but it ended up being an extremely significant piece of the puzzle. Letecia's statement that Gannon fell and hit his head is her attempt at explaining away why Gannon's blood would be found in the middle of nowhere. Not to mention that after talking with Quincy Brown's family members, they learned that Quincy Brown had been living in Mexico for the past 2 years. The investigators believed that Letecia initially left Gannon's body at this location the night of January 28th, like we said before, and then went back and got him in her aunt's rented Nissan Altima. So she's making up all these stories and sharing all this information about her location completely unprompted and unasked in an attempt to explain away why she may have been there. Ugh.
On February 15th, Letecia yet again provided additional conflicting stories to Al, including the story she told him about Gannon falling off of the bike was a lie because it was what she believed he wanted to hear.
Which what?
That's why I struggled getting that sentence out.
Why would he want to hear that? It's just like, what does that mean? You're lying to him because, well, I figure that's what you want to hear. He doesn't want to hear a lie. He wants to hear where his son is.
It's the fucking truth,
He wants
crazy.
the truth.
She also told Al that the blood in the corner of Gannon's room was a combination of her and Gannon's blood because the abductor anally penetrated both her and Gannon with an object. Letecia's blood was not found on the walls in Gannon's room. Besides all of the outrageous stories she told Al, Letecia told other friends and family members different stories about what occurred the day of Gannon's disappearance. During a phone call with a friend on February 16th, 2020, She said she had given Al numerous false stories because she knew he wouldn't believe anything she said. I wonder fucking why. The next day, February 17th, she told another person that she had considered flying to Colorado to take a lie detector test to prove her innocence. She also said that she knew a lie detector test wasn't admissible in court and that law enforcement wouldn't be present during the test. I'm not sure how this can get any more unbelievable than it already is, but oh, here we go.
Yeah.
On February 18th, Letecia called a customer service number associated with fakepolygraph.com. I can't make this shit up.
No.
During this call, Letecia stated that she never received confirmation for a test she paid for. The representative asked for her name, which she provided, and said he would resend the results to her email. About an hour later, Letecia called customer support again. Here's the audio recording of those conversations played at Letecia's trial.
How can I help?
Yes, I didn't get any confirmation about my test I paid for.
And so just for reference sake, before we get too deep into the phone call, sounds like there's two voices.
That's correct.
Do you recognize one of the voices?
I do.
Is it the female voice?
Yes.
And whose voice is that?
That's the defendant's voice.
Okay, go ahead. Thank you, Angela.
Okay, can I have your name, please? I can check if we've got the order here.
Yes. Keisha, last name is Stauch, Stauch.
Okay, give me one moment, please. Let me have a little look. Okay, yeah, perfect. I can see that we've received that, and we have actually sent the test. Have you not received that yet?
Have what now?
We have already sent the results to your email account.
I don't have them. Mm-mm.
Okay. Okay, let me try resending that, and if you don't receive it, give us a call back.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you, though. Bye-bye.
So Special Agent Cohen, the phone number that at the very beginning, let me back up, there you can hear ringing. Does that indicate that this is a phone call that was initiated by the defendant to a particular place?
That's correct.
Were you able to investigate and determine who it was that she was calling?
I was.
When a wiretap is obtained, does it record both the outgoing and receiving phone numbers?
As part of the overall wiretap in this investigation, we also installed something called a pen register trap and trace device. That particular device will record both the outgoing or incoming phone number from the subject telephone.
And so does that mean that the receiving phone, the person that is being dialed or a place that the originator is dialing would be caught in this trap and trace?
That's correct. It's identified as either an outgoing or incoming phone call, and we have the telephone numbers on both ends of that conversation.
And then were you able to look up that particular phone number that was dialed for this call and see it being associated with a particular web page?
Yes, I was.
What web page was that?
Fakepolygraph.com.
Okay. And is that what all of these phone calls are in relation to, is calls originated by the defendant to a purportedly fakepolygraph.com webpage?
That's correct.
Okay. Let's jump into 689 and permission to publish 689, Judge.
You may go ahead.
May I help?
Hi, yes, I was just talking to you. Is there a way you confirm where you sent those? Because I still didn't get them.
Yeah, so I'm just going to get that resent for you. So if you wait for the next sort of 10, 15 minutes and let me know if you haven't received it by then.
I was saying, can you check the email? Because I just want to make sure.
Okay, yeah, give me a moment. Okay.
Okay, cool. So you said like 10, 15 minutes?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Have a good day.
In that particular phone call, did it sound like there was an email address that was confirmed to the defendant?
Yes.
What was that email address?
It was I can't remember the exact address, but it was an address that we knew to be associated to the defendant.
Okay. And that's what sounds like an English speaking person relayed, and then the defendant acknowledged that as being the correct email address.
That's correct.
Okay. And then 690, permission to publish, Arm.
You may go ahead.
Hello, how can I help?
Hi, yes, I'm calling again. I still didn't get that email.
Okay, can I ask your name, please?
His last name's Stauch, S-T-A-U-C-H.
Ah, right, yes, perfect. I can see here.
You told me 10, 15 minutes, and you said it again. I still don't have it.
Yeah, no, unfortunately, it's actually been blocked by management, this order, due to the content of the questions, so we're not going to be able to send this report.
Okay. So, do I get my money back?
Unfortunately, not on this case, no. Obviously, due to our terms and conditions, it does clearly state that any sort of illegal activities or anything like that, obviously the management do reserve the right not to send the report. Obviously, we do incur processing fees, so that's why a refund wouldn't be due.
So what do you do now? Just delete it and go on about life and keep money?
Yes, we would do indeed.
I got you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
In that particular call, is it essentially being communicated that a polygraph result is not going to be provided because it's associated with the illegal activity? And then permission to publish 691.
You may go ahead.
Hi, how can I help?
Hi, did it hang up?
Oh, yeah, sorry, I can hear you now. How can I help you?
Okay. I talked to you earlier and you said that the request I did was blocked or something, but I looked on the terms and conditions and it says you can't say things about like infidelity and stuff like that. So I'm not sure how that was blocked.
Say that again, sorry, that you can or can't.
No, okay, so I did a report earlier and you said you would send it to me. Then when I called back, you said it was blocked, that I wasn't allowed to get the report. But then I clicked the terms and conditions and it says you can do questions about infidelity and stuff like that.
Yes, infidelity you can, correct.
Right, and that's what I did.
Your report was about infidelity, was it?
What did you say?
So you're saying your report was about infidelity?
Yeah, like I put questions in for it and you had to put like answers and you said something about it being blocked.
Yes, so what were your questions?
So it was about during the time that we were away inside of in another state that I talked to, and I gave the person's individual's name, Ortega. That was one of them. Then it said, "Are your eyes blue?" And I did a couple of the questions that were on the bottom.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure in that case. Unfortunately, that's not what came through. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what's happened there then.
Because I read that you can do this. Yeah, it says on there that you can do that.
Yeah, you would be able to about infidelity, but the questions that were submitted for your order were not to do with infidelity.
Yeah, I didn't submit questions that were not to do with infidelity.
Okay. All right. See, well, I'll have to look into that then in that case.
Do you want me just to write you the questions down?
No, it's okay. I'll just need to have a look into this then to see what can be done.
Okay.
Just remind me again, what was the name on the report?
It was Stauch, Stauch.
Uh-huh. And that's your surname, is it? Your last name?
Yes.
Okay. And first name is?
Tecia.
Okay. And how do I spell that?
It's Tecia.
Tecia?
Yes.
Uh-huh. Okay. All righty. Well, let me have a look into that and I can come back to you.
Okay. Thank you.
What's the best number to get you on? Okay. Right. Thanks a lot now. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Special Agent Cohen, these phone calls are from February 18th, as you've testified. Were you aware also at this same time that that's when these pretext calls were being recorded involving Al Stauch and the defendant?
Yes, I was.
Were there phone calls during that time with those pretext calls in which the defendant was talking about getting a polygraph examination?
Yes, she was.
What was she saying to Al as it relates to the polygraph?
She was saying that she had passed a polygraph test, and she was continuing to purport her innocence, and that she had nothing to do with Gannon's disappearance.
Passed a polygraph as it relates to what?
Whether she had anything to do with Gannon's disappearance.
Okay. Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
Cross-examination, Mr. Delaney.
I don't have any questions for Agent Cohen.
Do any of the jurors have any questions for Agent Cohen? Thank you, sir. You may step down.
Thank you.
Letecia is told she won't receive her fake polygraph test because it was blocked by management due to the content and illegal nature of the questions. She asks what happens now. Do they just delete the report and go on about life and keep the money? You can practically hear the panic bubbling to the surface of her voice. According to the testimony, she had already told Al that she passed a polygraph test at this point, and it proved she had nothing to do with Gannon's disappearance. Did she really think investigators wouldn't find out that she visited a website called fakepolygraph.com? Really? Also, anyone who is dumb enough to use a site like this in order to lie or prove false innocence deserves to be punished for their misbehavior. Like, if you are that stupid.
I was wondering why the hell would a site like that even exist? And I was like, okay, well, maybe for like a movie or a TV series or, just, stuff like that. But like,
or if you're trying to prove like you didn't cheat on somebody or, you didn't steal something, or
I was trying to think like what non-nefarious reasons could this be legitimately utilized?
None.
Other than like, a TV show or something, but I'm sure that they have like their own sources and whatnot. So it's all just nefarious and stupid and dumb. And she calls customer service again and tries to explain that she didn't ask anything illegal and thought questions about infidelity could be used in the test. The poor representative is trying so hard to remain neutral about the situation. I'm sure he can see exactly what she asked and is just like, yeah, I'm sorry, that's not what's listed here. I don't know what to tell you, lady. So, what were the questions Letecia asked herself in her legitimate polygraph test? Oh, let's get into it. Question 1. Do you intend to answer these questions regarding your stepson truthfully? Answer. Yes.
Easy enough.
So far, so good. Okay. Question 2. Is your birthday August 4th, 1983? Answer. Yes. Okay. Question 3. Did you participate in any way in causing harm to your stepson? Answer. No. Bullshit. Sorry. Allergies here in Texas,
Oh man, they just really get to you.
Question 4. Did your stepson return with you to your home? Answer. Yes. Well, he did.
Yeah. So that's not a lie.
Question 5. Did you participate in any way in causing the death of your stepson? Answer. No. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything related to infidelity here.
Mm-mm.
She also tells the customer service rep that one of the questions on her test was, "Are your eyes blue?" Which is also not in this report. An innocent person wouldn't go through the process of paying for and writing a fake polygraph test to prove they did nothing wrong. Just another red flag to add to the growing pile.
Also, it's really interesting to me that during this time, she is upset with Al for saying that Gannon is probably gone at this point. How do you know he's dead? He's not dead, whatever. And yet she's asking herself on a fake polygraph test if she had anything to do with his death.
Oof.
Letecia never provided a fully truthful statement about Gannon's disappearance to the authorities at any point during the investigation. She changed her story multiple times, rented a car under suspicious circumstances, put her phone on airplane mode, or left it at home on multiple occasions in an attempt to hide her location, and gave unprompted explanations for why Gannon's blood would be found in multiple locations. She went to great lengths to make herself look innocent, including the alleged rape story and attempting to buy a polygraph test from fakepolygraph.com. These reasons, plus the others that we have discussed in Part 1 and Part 2, and all of the physical evidence that Gannon was killed inside of the house, were enough to approve the arrest warrant for Letecia Stauch. The charges in the arrest warrant included murder in the first degree for a child under 12 by a person in the position of trust, child abuse relating in death, tampering with the deceased human body, and tampering with physical evidence. Letecia was arrested in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina on March 2, 2020, and extradited back to El Paso County, Colorado. During the cross-county trip, Letecia slipped out of her handcuffs and attacked a deputy who was part of the extradition team.
Because that is what an innocent person does.
Yeah, that's not weird.
Of course, we're all too aware of what else happened in March of 2020. The COVID-19 epidemic shut the whole damn world down. This impacted the courts as well, and Letecia's trial was delayed due to the pandemic. During this time, her lawyers did everything in their power to see if she was competent to stand trial. If she was found incompetent, she could be ordered to continue care with a doctor and then reevaluated after 90 days to see if she's fit to stand trial. The case took a huge turn on March 17th, 2020. A bridge inspector in Pace, Florida, 20 minutes away from Pensacola, was doing a routine inspection when he saw an olive green suitcase in a marshy spot under the bridge. Out of pure curiosity, he opened the suitcase and was immediately overwhelmed by the strong smell of decomposition. He then saw 2 small feet wearing football socks and a body wrapped in a blanket. It was at this point he called the authorities. The body in this carry-on sized suitcase was determined to belong to Gannon Stauch. I'm now going to describe the injuries Gannon had, so if this is something you don't want to hear, please fast forward for about a minute. During examination, Gannon was found to have a fractured skull, sharp force injuries to his chest and back, defensive wounds to his hands, cuts on his arms and hands, and a bullet wound in his jaw. A bullet was found in the back of his head, along with 2 more bullets in the pillow found in the suitcase. A sergeant with the Rosa County, Florida Sheriff's Office said the blunt force trauma and bullet wound were both lethal on their own and occurred before death. The wounds found on Gannon fall in line with what blood spatter experts found on the walls of Gannon's room. His body had been in the suitcase for over a month, though it's not clear how long it had been under the bridge. If you remember from the first episode, Letecia and her daughter Harley left Colorado to go to Myrtle Beach at the beginning of February and made a pit stop in Pensacola.
It never gets any easier.
No, I fucking hate that part. You know, the fact that we have kids his age. I can't even imagine. I have a twisted mind. I have a strong imagination. You know, to be able to sit and do this stuff, we got to be able to handle a lot. But I can't. I cannot fathom those injuries on my child or afflicted by me to, no. Not okay.
In August of 2020, Letecia wrote a letter to the judge on her case saying her constitutional rights were not being met. However, none of her statements were true, and all of her rights as an inmate were in fact being met. She also wrote in this letter that the guards were poisoning her food and that she was receiving threats on a consistent basis, including on a note she found in her peanut butter. Not only did she make false allegations about her treatment, she also attempted to escape from jail by enlisting the help of her cellmate. She promised this inmate that one of her family members would deposit $75,000 into her account if she would help Letecia by getting her a broom handle so she could break out a window. The cellmate, afraid of getting in trouble and hurting her own case, told guards about Letecia's offer. When the guards searched her cell, they found a letter she had written to Harley telling her not to worry if she saw on the news that Letecia had escaped or was missing. This woman did anything and everything to get out of the situation she was in, even when she was already behind bars. Letecia's trial started at the beginning of April 2023, and her defense argued that Letecia did love Gannon, but the trauma she had experienced in her life, including assault as a child at the hands of Letecia's mother's boyfriends, put her in an extremely bad and unsafe situation over and over again. There was a psychological crack that occurred to make her go from loving stepmother and teacher to killer.
According to Letecia's defense team, all of the stories she told about Gannon's disappearance weren't lies, but evidence of a broken mind and soul.
Give me a fucking break.
A broken mind, I can... Clearly something's fucking not right there, but...
Not in the way they're trying to say, but yeah.
Letecia didn't know she was killing Gannon, but thought she was killing her own demon. Letecia was diagnosed with dissociative identity disorder, or DID. People who have this diagnosis have multiple and distinct personalities, and it is often brought on by tremendous amounts of childhood trauma. Even if she was insane at the time of Gannon's murder, the fact that she showed no remorse, even 3 years later, is a huge sign that she truly had no care in her heart for Gannon or his family members.
I know we said this was only going to be 2 parts, but there is so much more to take in during the trial, and we could all use a little mental break, let's be honest, because this bitch is crazy. So make sure to subscribe wherever you're listening so you'll be notified when part 3 comes out next Wednesday. As always, you can find us on Instagram and TikTok at Weird True Crime, and you can see the full scripts on our website at weirdtruecrime.com.
I am equally excited and nervous, I guess, to get into what happens at the trial. Seriously, though, everyone take some time to meditate and clear your minds before listening to even more outrageous stories in part 3.
It's hard to believe, but yes, it gets worse.
If you want to talk about your feelings, because I'm sure we're all going to have plenty of them, Join the Weird True Crime Podcast group on Facebook. Join in on the conversation.
Until next time, stay safe.
And make good choices.
Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.